Okay, Chip, now this is quite simple, okay? We're going to teach you to be a master of Dark Souls. Now, this is the method that has been used by all professional level Dark Souls players. Me, right? Okay? So, what you got to do is get good, and the way you do that is, shall we say, physical reinforcement. You good with that? Yeah? You wouldn't consider it an abuse of an employer-employee contract, would you? Good. Okay, so what you want to do is press start. No! You press start before you got good. That's your first mistake. But we'll get you there, we'll get you there. Carry on. Do not be impatient about the loading times. They're perfect. Everything about Dark Souls is perfect. Say it.
It's perfect.
Shut up, Chip! Continue. Died. Died? Right, what does it say on the screen right now?
You died.
Shut up, Chip! Don't put points into decks! Are you wielding a Zweihander? No! Missed an Estus shard. Used an ember. Wrong! Drunk an Estus flask. Didn't drink an Estus flask. That's very good, actually. You beat that boss. And that's actually really quite well done. It was a tough boss, but it was in the wrong order! Prepare to die. The phrase immortalized by Namco Bandai's PR department while marketing the Dark Souls series. It's a phrase that plays into the masochistic community that has grown up around From Software's work ever since Demon Souls first became a cult sleeper hit. Since then, the reputation that Dark Souls is a hard game for hard players has become so popular that it precedes the game thoroughly, and I have to say, I've always found that idea to be somewhat tacky and gauche for a series I hold in such high regard. This is not one of those equally tacky arguments in which I posture and go, "Meh, Dark Souls isn't that hard. If you think it's hard, you need to get good." I'm not that great at video games. Hell, if you've watched me play games, you'll know I can be pretty fucking terrible at a lot of them. But Dark Souls? Dark Souls I can play, and I like to think I play it reasonably well, because despite its reputation as a punishingly difficult game, despite the threats of prepare to die, I find the Souls series amongst the most eminently playable games the modern era has ever given to us. Dark Souls' idea of difficulty is very precise. It's not so much a game about raw skill as it is about preparedness, care, and planning. There are rewards for skill, of course. Those who master parrying and perfect dodges will do fantastic. But the beauty of the Souls games is that even if you can't handle those trickier mechanics, there are strategies for you. With multiple playstyles that can include ranged attacks, powerful magic, and shields, there are plenty of options for those who don't have fantastic reflexes or can read a telegraphed attack. Like I said, the real key to success is being careful. A patient player who knows to take it slow, not to take on more than can be handled, learn to draw out enemies and tackle them on favourable terms, they're the ones who do well, and you don't necessarily need to be brilliant at games to do any of that. You don't need to get good so much as you need to get pragmatic. Not as catchy a phrase, I know, but far less reductive and way more accurate than the Souls community's favourite put-down. The true beauty of Dark Souls' design comes not from testing your skill, but from the way it employs psychology. Each game is brilliant at teaching its players to be afraid, to respect what the game can do. The early stages are full of unexpected traps, enemies hiding around corners to ambush you, boulders rolling from the tops of stairs to crush you, pathways leading to huge beefgate monsters that tell you very quickly you've gone the wrong way. It instills a paranoia in the player, one that will serve them fantastically well in the levels to come as they learn to read the environment and predict what might be ahead. And From Software is very good at using psychology to make challenges tougher when they're first run up against. One of my favourite Souls bosses is Dark Beast Parl from Bloodborne, for example. Now, it's not that tough a boss, really. It's vulnerable when you're close to it and its attacks can be dodged fairly reliably. However, when I first met it, it terrified the shit out of me. It was a horrifyingly fast, oversized, aggressive, undead, electrified werewolf from hell, and my first thought when it came blazing at me like a hairy bullet from a lightning gun was that there was no way I could beat it. So predictably, it kicked Seven Shades of shit out of me. Not because it was super hard, not because I didn't have the skill necessary to defeat it, but because it had played me. Many bosses in Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne Bloodborne pull this trick, and Paul is a master of it. The game can be tough, most certainly, and has its bosses that are fucking brutal, but while people play up the masochistic angle, the crushing difficulty of it all, they overlook the real message behind Dark Souls' challenge. The very reason it's set in a world where no matter how many times a warrior dies, it keeps coming back for more. Souls, for all its discouraging reputation, is a game all about hope. It's a game that actively encourages its players to try and try again, to keep getting up. Every enemy slain brings you closer to growing stronger as a character. Every attempt at a boss sees you inch closer to defeating it. While in frustration I may have yelled at the game for being quote-unquote impossible, it's never been true, and I've always kept plugging away at its toughest adversaries because I know, and the game never lets me forget, that everything is killable. I've played games where I've checked out after determining something's above my league. I don't feel that way with From's games. And of course, if something really is too brutal for a player, they can always summon another player to join them and kick its ass in jolly cooperation. Such is Dark Souls' unsung commitment to making sure its players have heart enough to progress. And it really is unsung. From's own fans often poo-poo the idea of making the game more welcoming to newcomers, seemingly unaware that From Software itself has always wanted to make Souls more welcoming to newcomers. Game journalists have to write articles assuring readers the latest game is still really hardcore super tough times, and some will even argue that difficulty is the entire point of the series, which I feel overlooks so much about what makes the game as good as it is. Any fucking game can be hard. Battletoads was fucking hard, and it was also really poorly designed. Souls games are tough, but fair, and intricately, painstakingly designed to be so. To be so in a way that any player who gets into it understands that every obstacle can and will be overcome. That takes skill and dedication and heart, and some of us just love the atmosphere and the lore of the game, you know? Not all of us are playing this game just to feel like real tough nut hardcore gamers. It always saddened me to see Namco Bandai seize upon what I feel is an oversimplified, off-putting, and ultimately misguided reputation. It focuses so much on how the game will kill you. It's adopted the whole get good thing by merchandising it, and it's employed some utterly cringeworthy marketing campaigns with Dark Souls 3, like that ludicrous hot wing challenge, comparing Dark Souls to the kind of let's eat hot spicy food and see who can hack it machismo challenges my brother and I used to do when we were kids. Being prepared to die is part of the game's unique psychological makeup. It absolutely is. You die in the Souls games. A lot. A metric fuck ton of times. But being prepared to get up, dust off, and royally kick the anus of whatever killed you is the real draw. The real reason these games are, in my opinion, so effing majestic. To focus just on how hardcore it is does such a disservice to its world design, its inimitable mentality, its haunting atmosphere, and its underappreciated player encouragement. Reducing all that to a hot wing eating contest is just, well, it's bloody wrong, damn it. It's an attitude that should prepare to die. It's fair to say that I've used the phrase get good before. I find it funny. You know, it is funny. Because of how reductive it is, if we're being honest. There is something funny about someone having an issue with Dark Souls and you just responding with get good and dismissing it. And that's a good joke, so long as that's what it is and you understand that it is the reduction of Dark Souls to the phrase get good that makes it a fun joke. The difference is when some people take it seriously, and the whole get good mentality has kind of informed some of the arrogance that comes with being a dedicated Dark Souls fan. And I think most fans, many fans, a lot of them do take it in good humour, do it for a laugh, a goof, but some people don't. And those people who are just trying to lord it over other people, who are just trying to be arrogant bastards and show off how hardcore they are, I mean, those people are cordially invited to lick my pussy. After, of course, they thank God for me. Shit, I meant to say praise the sun for me. I fucked this up! Well, hello, it's time for another round of Fuck Konami news. All the news that's fit to make you say, fuck Konami! A new Contra's been announced! How exciting! A revival of the Contra franchise! Let's have a little sneak peek at some of the trailers, shall we? It's a mobile game with microtransactions! Fuck Konami.